We just had 330 people play our Bullet Hell MMO. I've been working on Wyld Land for nearly a year, and I'm excited because this was our largest test yet. This test was also a milestone for the game in a lot of other ways as well, as we saw our first clear of Tier 20 content, which is the hardest content in the game, as well as our first in-game clear of the Corrupted Dark Hunter, considered the hardest boss currently in the game. Shout out to Zed and FranceGuy for those accomplishments. If you're new here, Wyld Land is a bullet hell MMO I've been developing. It's heavily inspired by Realm of the Mad God and Enter the Gungeon. With this recent playtest, we've done a lot of work around the dungeon spawning system to introduce better arrangement of mobs to make the difficulty of each room more normalized. I think that was definitely a success. We also saw the introduction of our new biomes and world events, and while we still have some work to do on world events to get them to where I want them to be, it's really exciting to see the overworld continuing to take shape and improve. We added our first environmental hazard, which is water. You can fall into it if you don't time your dash correctly. We're still working on adding more hazards to the game, so if you can think of a cool environmental hazard, leave it down in the comments. Folks also found a lot of new exotic weapons that hadn't been seen in previous tests, including the never-ending story. There are still actually several exotics in the game that haven't been discovered yet, so I'm excited to see what happens when you all get your hands on them. Overall, the game is continuing to make progress with each testing session, and we really appreciate your feedback as we strive to make the game the best it can be. Looking ahead, we'll be holding what should be our final alpha test, for real this time, around the end of February. We'll announce an official date soon. We're just doing some planning ahead of what comes after that and figuring out how to make it all piece together. After that, we'll be moving into beta and bringing the game to Steam. Look for more information on that soon. For now, you can check out the game on Steam, and maybe wishlist it while you're there, thanks. In the next test, there's a few things we already know that are coming that you can start getting excited about. First off, we solved a few long-standing bugs, including dungeon doors being closed if you join the dungeon late, and the no-hit achievements being broken. Speaking of achievements, we've revamped the achievement screen so you can now get more information on exactly what enemies you still need to kill to clear the achievement, and also whether or not it will reset on death. We've also heard you about the tooltips in the game, and now if there are spikes on an item, sub-tooltips will appear alongside them to tell you exactly what each spike does. We've also taken a stab at rebalancing the group scaling in the game, so that now when you do a dungeon with more players, it should feel a little better as your group size increases. We want to encourage folks to run dungeons in groups, and we're feeling like it was a little too punishing compared to solo play. Finally, we've got fixes coming for some of the guns not firing correctly when using auto-fire, such as the double-barrel shotgun, and we fixed a bug which was making shirt slot items a lot harder to come by than intended. There's a ton more coming in this test, including new bosses, new world events, dungeon props, and even a guest mode so you can play the game without having to sign in if you're new and just want to check it out. We'll cover that and preview it all in depth in our next devlog ahead of the last alpha test. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for next time.